So let's just jump right into the questions here. So what's your take on TripAdvisor? Clients rely on it, but isn't it a bit of diluted and manipulated content nowadays? Kind of true with the recent story about the shed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but you guys have any comments about
Yeah,
that?
if you Google that, the shed in London, basically someone created the most, the number one restaurant on TripAdvisor, and basically the whole thing was fake.
It was a fraud. It was all fraud, yeah.
It's on Vice. It's quite an amazing little documentary. Look, I think that's going to be the same for every platform. There is going to be that manipulation. There are going to be people gaming the system. But I think it's rare nowadays that a guest will make a purchasing decision just on one source. I mean, think about your own purchasing behaviors. You have multiple tabs open. And I actually get quite, I don't believe it when there's 100% positive reviews. I think a little bit kind of here and there is actually quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, when you were talking up there, I was actually trying to remember the shed.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think, like, what was that documentary? Because a lot of people, they automatically think, oh, I'm going to go to TripAdvisor to figure out what's the best restaurant, or where's the best place to travel, or what's the best hotel to use. When I was on my honeymoon, I didn't even look at TripAdvisor. I actually went onto my Instagram feed when we were in Mauritius, and I was just trying to figure out what are the best things that I can do here. And I actually use my Instagram feed and some hashtags to figure out, because I want to visually see it. I don't want someone to tell me what it is. I want to see it. So I think TripAdvisor works to some degree, but I don't think you should rely on it. I think you each complement each other.
Okay. Let's jump down to the next question. If I'm a small tour operator with little budget, what is the one thing I can do that will exponentially transform my business? I think it was a question I have here. If you had one choice of social media, what would it be? Yeah, so what are your thoughts on this?
No amount of social media is going to solve a bad product sort of thing. So I'd say keep investing in your product, keep investing in your experience. Literally every single person that's coming through your door is your marketing channel. Get that right, and you'll have all the marketing done for you. And I think another thing you can probably do is find those bigger players who can help you. I think you made a good point about the influencers, and I think certainly during my time at Tourism Australia, we were very obsessed with the big social media influencers, with millions and millions of followers. But like you said, a lot of times that they're in their own self-interest. But what I found was that the B and C and D level influencers, those are the ones that can bring so much more value into your business. You know, giving a night or two for free accommodation or a tour for free to someone who has 5,000, 10,000 Instagram followers, if they're going to help you create video assets, or they're going to help teach your team how to do a certain part of social, that's value right there.
Yeah, 100%. We've started to move away from influencers completely. We don't even use them anymore. We're more interested in microbloggers, people like Jesse just said, people that have 1,000, 2,000 followers. Those are the real people, right? They're not in it for like fame. They're not in it because they want to make a career out of it. They truly just want to share the experiences that you're offering to them. I think the answer to that question is don't even worry about the social media part of it. Just get the groundwork right. I think if you work on the groundwork right and you execute flawlessly on the ground, people are naturally going to talk about your product.
Well, I think that answers the second question too, Nishal's question. So we'll jump down to Wilde, which is actually, to me, how much of the conventional wisdom can be used in the marketing? I mean, I'll give you my take, and then let's see what these guys say. Look, we talk about digital marketing all the time. I've said this many times to other people. Yeah, even though we have digital marketing, marketing hasn't changed. I mean, still, content is king. Storytelling is still really important, right? You know, even if you have Twitter, you can still tell a story in 140 characters, now 240 characters. You can still tell a story through a picture, right? So marketing hasn't really changed. It's just the distribution channels have changed. So realistically, that's my take on it. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but what are your thoughts?
We're marketing in a digital era.
Yeah.
There's no digital marketing. I don't believe in digital marketing. I think we're just, I mean, when TV launched, the advent of TV, like everyone had to adjust to TV, and we're going through that same change now. Nothing's really changed. It's just the tools that we have changed. We just need to adapt to those tools.
Yeah. There's also the reality too that 70% of referrals come from Google and Facebook. And there's two giants that own basically the monopoly in a lot of our businesses, right? And you can't ignore those two. The good thing is they both hate each other, so there's not one kind of dominant player sort of thing. But I don't have Wi-Fi right now, but I have a Google phone. I can just say, what's the best things to do around here? And Google will suggest what the top 5 things are to do. You can't ignore that. You know, they're bypassing your website completely. So it's like.
But that's a question I've asked to other people before. Like, so I mean, we talk about the future of travel, or the future of the internet. People are talking about we're going to move to voice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how much will that change marketing, right? When people then just pick up their phone and say, "Hey, best restaurant in the area," where you're going to start these sites like TripAdvisor or Facebook will start losing their branding because you know Siri or Google will just bypass that and do the search. I mean, how much that will actually change, or how much it won't change.
Yeah. It's funny, if you look at China, for example, right? Like in Australia, we did a lot to target the Chinese customer, but it was the Chinese customer never went on a WeChat or our website. It's all based on what they all kind of communicate within their own kind of private groups. So a lot of it, for a lot of operators that were successful in this area, was really kind of watching what was happening with the Chinese customer and being like, oh, okay, yeah, they like breakfast here, they like to do things. So redesigning, that's why that guest experience is so important, as opposed to, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like, it's just so far removed from actually fixing the product and creating a great experience.
All right, so what's the next question here? So let's jump down to Michael's question. Can you talk about avoiding customer fatigue when the customer is posting on our behalf in social media? Is the eventual goal to never ask them to post?
Can you talk about this?
We jump down to the last one. So yeah, do you ask the customer not to post, or you know, where's the balance in that?
Yeah. Well, to me, like asking the customer to post, that's asking them to do you a favor, right? Think about it, how you're doing a favor for the customer in the first place. How are you creating that experience that makes them look good? You know, we're all hardwired to make recommendations. Think about it, like if a friend asks you, oh, where'd you get your haircut? Or where's your favorite yoga studio? You feel good. You feel good recommending that place, right? We're all wired to feel good. So it's like, why don't you design that experience so that when the guests leave, they naturally want to share it with everyone else? There's an experience I didn't put up on the slide, but a Freycinet walk experience in Australia. It's such an amazing 3 or 4 day kind of experience, but when you leave, by the time you get home, you have a group photo and you have all the recipes that you had, like you can cook all the cookies, everything like that you had on the trip, and you had all the map with all the kind of key facts. When I got that, I was like, all right, I forgot half the things that my tour guide told me, but the fact that I all have it now in an email in a way that will make me look good is winning right there. I think if they would have asked me, oh, can you please post about us on social media, use our hashtag, I would have been like, nah, not really.
So let's see, any more questions here? Yeah, if you have any more questions, please send them in. I think we've already answered Nishal's question.
Or if you want to yell out a question, also.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. But no. So I mean, I guess there's another question then from my end. So we have sort of a popularity of now sort of Instagram stories and Snapchat. I think that was something that we've discussed in the past, which is a bit different now. I mean, more millennials sort of are moving towards that Instagram stories. You get more return on it. Actually, I mean, I will click someone's Instagram stories. Yeah. How do you build content for that? And then how do you even measure the ROI for that?
Yeah, so I think with Snapchat, it's a little bit more different than Instagram stories. It's one of the fastest growing in Saudi Arabia right now. It's the number one social media platform. We did a couple of, like about 6-7 months back, we did a campaign for a telco where we created geolocation filters for them for the Princess Cup, which is a big football match in Saudi Arabia, and it just went bananas. It was like the #1 downloaded lens. We utilized that because we knew that at the time that the Saudis were going to Snapchat to basically create rivalries between themselves. Right, and then they were also downloading those lenses because Saudis are a little bit more conservative. They like to be a little bit more. They don't like to share content like other people do. So they were sharing with their innermost circle. So we knew that, and we leveraged that knowledge, and we created those lenses, and it was the #1 downloaded lens. So it's just about using the platform to your advantage. We would never have done that with Instagram stories, just like we would never have done that with Facebook, just like we would never have done that with Twitter. I think every platform has its ups and every platform has its downs. If I wanted to make a conversation and open up a communication channel with my customers, I'll probably most likely go to Twitter and just try to engage with them on that platform. If I wanted to do promotions or something like this, then I would probably use another platform, and so on and so forth. So you gotta use them again. They're tools. So you have to use each tool to your advantage.
I would also add to that, like invest in video, for example. Like look at the results with Symbio. That one video got 95 million views just on our Facebook page. And when we ran the numbers, it got about 450 million views when you combine all the other platforms themselves. I find like a lot of people just waste too much time posting new stuff all the time. Think about it. If you're a small operator and you have 2,000 or 3,000 followers or fans on your Facebook page, let's be real, you're probably reaching 50 or 60% of them, and 50 or 60 people out of your 1,000, and they're probably all people within your network already. So you're wasting your time. So why don't you just invest in having the proper assets so that you can get it in all the other touch points where your customer is at. And like that little video with Imogen the koala, that's still being shared online around, right? That is incredibly powerful. So find those assets that you have that chances are they probably won't get exhausted if you really think through all the different touch points where the guest is.
Babies and animals are always popular.
It's always popular.
Cats.
Babies,
cats rule the internet, right?
Yeah, cats and babies will always win.
Yeah.
So let's go to this one, because I think Facebook is always a big thing.
Yeah.
Does boosting your post on Facebook through paying really help, or are we just wasting money?
Yes, most of the time it's a waste of time. When you think about it, right, most people probably follow your page because they have a strong affinity for your brand. So they've already been on your tour, or they live in your area. So just boosting that content so you can see more of those people really doesn't help. I think if you have a really solid offer, and the shift that's happened from I think typically marketing's been about demographics. So we're trying to reach someone between the ages of 30 and 45, yada, yada, yada. But now you can target based on behavior. We are targeting a guest who has gone to that experience, or we're targeting a guest who's just arrived at the airport who fits these demographic profile. It's insane what you can do now on Facebook.
Yeah, but I mean, not with the new algorithm though. Isn't now just pay to play, right? Like you have to, you're not going to see anything from companies nowadays, because if you're not paying, then you're not going to see that content.
That's the problem with that algorithm. Actually, is once you pay, you're locked into it. So if you don't pay again, you actually go down the line.
But I think that's the mistake that most people, they're just paying to boost up their content because they're addicted to these vanity metrics. They judge their success based on we got 1,000 or 2,000 likes, as opposed to we got this amount of bookings. Like for Symbio, for example, they know that their investment that they make in those videos and their partnerships gets them X number of bookings.
All right. Well, we'll try with one more question here. We've got a few more seconds left. It's funny. What are the biggest travel influencers on Instagram?
I stopped following travel influencers. I don't know. Jay Alvarez, I don't know. He does cool videos, but I don't know.
That's funny. I saw them in Bali actually.
Did you?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was.
He does great videos. I just don't know if he's a travel influencer. I stopped following those guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think a lot of that stuff is vanity based. It's not based on actual value.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do, great.
Yeah, but I think Ali had said it before, the more niche microbloggers,
Yeah.
the ones that have, it's not about how many followers you have, but it's how much engagement you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Just really quickly before we go, I think with Dubai Tourism, what we did is we reached out to all the microbloggers, not even the people in the 50s or the 20s or the 10,000s. We literally grabbed 20 of the biggest microbloggers in the fashion, in the food industry, in the lifestyle industry, and we brought them all together and we created one really awesome video around them. Like they were all going to Dubai Tourism, Dubai Shopping Festival, and it just went bananas. It was just so great, and Dubai Tourism saw an amazing increase in all their social media platforms. I think they had their record year for sales for the Dubai Shopping Festival was last year. So I don't know if that was directly correlated to the influencers, but I'm sure it helped.
Oh, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. A big round of applause for both of our speakers, Ali and Jesse.